like it at all.
Yeah, well, you already know my sense. I don't like it, but if we can end this by the end of the month, I'll be all right. But if
But
not,
that's
I'm
the
gonna
thing
be
is like I hope most people feel like that if Trump does try to find an off ramp and this is over in a month. But here's what did you see Chris? You know who Chris Murphy is, right?
yeah.
He posted a thread after that closed session with the Senate by the DOD.
Yeah, I seen it. He was pretty much
Yeah, and
saying like he was like, bro, I'm concerned. I mean, it doesn't look like we have a real plan. It's like, yeah.
well, he said now the plan is to take out their naval assets and their missiles and a lot of their military assets, which is kind of what seemingly already happened in a large part. But he said, like, okay, what happens when we stop bombing them and they start rebuilding them? The only answer to that is we keep doing this every couple of months. And then,
Yeah.
so is it really ended if it's announced in a month or two, just like
So we're
Midnight
just gonna
Hammer
mow the
operations were
grass.
announced?
So we're just gonna mow the grass on the Iranians for what? The next 5-10 years until they just have no missile capabilities?
And we're expecting them to never improve and never get better at like not being targeted. Like I was talking about earlier with the drone interceptors that Ukraine is providing, they developed those, and they're like the only thing that works really good against the Shahed right now. They developed those while in an active war, fighting against the Russians. So obviously, Iran is going to be able to innovate if this keeps happening. Like I don't think they'll keep making the same mistake over and over and over and over again.
Oh, hold on here now. The guy's video, the guy I was just reacting to, he actually put out like a post about an hour ago, bro. So the New York Times claims that the DO Department of War has reached a verdict that the U.S. did strike the Iranian school with a tomahawk, and this is like, ongoing military investigations have determined that the United States is responsible for a deadly tomahawk missile strike on an Iranian elementary school, according to U.S. officials and other familiar with the preliminary findings.
Hey, I can't blame anyone that doesn't want it to be true, right?
Me
Like it's
neither. I can't either. I don't want it to be true myself, but I gotta get down to the bottom of it.
right. It's horrifying, and like I feel like most people are horrified when they see.
It's got sirens going on.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, there was sirens going on, and it completely blocked whatever you were saying out.
Sorry. Yeah. Ambulance to a fire truck. But no, when we see like videos and images of Russians targeting civilian infrastructure like playgrounds and schools, or Israel doing it in Gaza, I mean, most people are horrified by that. And there's just another level to it when it's your own damn country, you know?
Nah, the cope, bro. The cope is real. Hey, no, he said, he said, members of the press have quit working out of the Pentagon for refusing to agree to no leaking and seeking Pentagon/military staff for such reasons. Further, the Pentagon has gone after members of the military for leaking accurate and false information to the press. Kind of makes you wonder how many times we have seen false statements from anonymous sources familiar with the matter. So he's pretty much trying to say that these guys don't know what they're talking about, aka the military investigators don't know what they're talking about, and these are the guys who talked into the New York Times. Like,
he's still doubling down,
bro. And this is the guy's video I just reacted to.
Oh gosh,
doubling down. This was an hour ago, bro. An hour ago,
dude. And the people that do this for free, man, like he better be getting paid by the Trump administration to do this amount of fucking.
Nah, he's getting that
propaganda.
He's getting
or maybe he just believes in the American military so much that that's why he's doing it.
Well, that's ignorant.
I mean, I can
no,
I don't know, we can relate.
Not, it's loyalty.
But the American military has committed atrocities many times. We're not.
Every military has committed atrocities.
Exactly. That's why you shouldn't blindly just trust the military.
There are some people that are extremely loyal. It has nothing to do with ignorance. It has to do with loving the military, being from a military family, and believing the best in our military. There are people like that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
If you want to believe the best about your military, you should hold them accountable when they make mistakes like this. You shouldn't just wipe it under the rug, you know?
No one's trying to swipe it under the rug.
No,
This guy
not
is.
you, Tove, but no, people on, well, sadly, our side have been trying to sweep this under the rug. They've been trying to say, oh, no, it's not true. It's actually Iran and all this wild stuff. But as more and more evidence come out, now we got apparently conclusive evidence that's probably going to start hitting the CNN, Fox News within the next couple of hours that, yeah, we were responsible for the deadly Tomahawk missile strike. And here's the problem. Now, when we got confirmation, we got people out here just crashing out, going like, oh, no, this couldn't be true. I wouldn't be surprised if this was proven false later. It can't be. It's fake news. It's the New York Times. It's like, bro.
Yeah, how can you be like so loyal to the military that you're fucking arguing with the military's own conclusion?
Exactly. And that's where it's kind of getting a bit
Again,
delusional.
like I said, there are people that are that loyal to the military.
I can see that.
Yeah, if your loyalty is like blinding you to the truth, then you're loyal to a fault, and you should be criticized for it.
But all right, though, I do want to get over.
Right.
Now, I do want to get over to my man John B. He says hashtag Iranians are literally celebrating freedom. Boy, where? Well, like what? In Australia, sure. In America, in the UK, sure, but not in Tehran. They're hiding. Actually, you know, the places that we've been bombing, are what? These highly liberal areas where most of the people there don't agree with the Ayatollah, aka we're killing the people who don't support the Ayatollah, since we're bombing these main cities. Mainly the hardcore supporter of the Ayatollah live out there in the country, in the outskirts of the city. Where are we bombing? Where all the highly educated Iranians are at, in the capital.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. Did you apparently Iran was originally like the Dubai of the Middle East back in at least the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, but when they had the Shah and they had like a little fair dealings with Israel, like bro,
I didn't realize they were that. I didn't realize they were that. I didn't realize they were basically the Dubai. I knew they were in a much better position, but I didn't realize it was that good.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a playground
for those who were at the top, and then after a while, the Shah got a bit authoritarian.
Yeah.
They start skipping out on. They start skimming money from the people, and then things went awry. But for anybody thinking that Iranians are celebrating the strikes on their country, yeah, the ones outside of it, but the ones inside of it, they're living in terror. And be real with you.
And so like, even if they were initially celebratory about the strikes or the ones that killed Khomeini, at least, I think the blowing up of the energy infrastructure and desalination plants and schools are going to turn them against this pretty quickly, especially when it's raining oil down on you. And that's going to cause, like, who knows the amount of ecological damage and health consequences that's going to cause for the millions of people living in Tehran or around the area.
And I would love to think that we're just striking military targets, but bro, we've even struck one of their like media centers.
Yeah.
Hold on. What does that have to do with military?
Well, you could make the argument that it has to do with military because it's state-ran media.
Okay. All right. That's
yeah.
All right.
Do you still have that list that they came out with for the U.S.'s surrender, quote unquote?
Oh yeah, for us to pretty much surrender to that. Well, for them to surrender to us is what they. Yeah, for them to surrender to us, they said, look, if you want us to surrender, you're gonna have to take off all the sanctions. You gotta apologize for the bombing of the school. I mean, bro, they had some pretty crazy points there.
And didn't they say to the Gulf states, like, hey, we'll stop bombing you if you kick out the Americans from your country?
Oh, yeah, no more American bases, too. I was like, oh, man, they're trying to hit us where it hurts.
Yeah. Monty wants to know if he can come up.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Because he thinks he's still unable to.
Oh, no. Also, Seth, did you see, there was like an ABC report that the FBI has warned a bunch of police departments in California that Iran wants to strike the West Coast with drones.
It's like, come on. Well, like, they're trying to fearmonger. At a certain point, this is fearmongering.
I don't think Shaheeds are that capable of going that far.
Well, I don't know, because last week, our National Guard there was something up in the sky and because I live right next to the Ohio National Guard or the Ohio Air National Guard, and they took off. Like they don't do practices or exercises on weekdays at night. They do them on the weekends. And they started hauling ass. They weren't even in formation. They just started hauling ass after this thing. So, and I'm not getting anything from the guys up at the truck stop. And usually they're pretty open about talking about their exercises and stuff. They like doing that. They like being, they're guys, they're military, they're young.
All right. Let's go ahead and get back to Caroline Levitt. Let's see what she got to say.
And SDNY have announced they are charging those two individuals and alleged terrorists, and I know they won't rest until justice is sought in this case. Daniel.
Thank you, Caroline. Appreciate it. Millions of Americans are filing taxes for the first time since the president signed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act into law. New reports say that new IRS data says that the average federal
Tove, tell Monty to try again.
Okay, we'll do.
Around $3,800, a little bit up from the last period of last year. Does the president believe that the average federal tax refund increasing this year could provide a little bit more economic growth, something that he's been very focused on as the year progresses?
Absolutely. And Americans are going to start benefiting from the fruits of President Trump and Republicans' labor through the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill and these historic tax cuts. We are midway through tax season. So just to provide an update from the Treasury Department.
Oh, hold on. Shout out to my man Jet. He says, so what intel was the Department of War going off of, the CIA or the Mossad? I mean, that's also a good question, too. I think they just went off their own military analysis. They were just trying to slow roll it. They were probably hoping and praying that it wasn't what they were thinking it was.
I'm surprised this came out while the operation's still going on. I thought they'd wait till it was over and then kind of quietly release it. But
strategically, that'd have been smart. I'm not even gonna lie, smart, but you wouldn't really be seen as trustworthy after that. But hold on, man. Let's shout out to my man Monty, bro. Monty, what's going on?
What up, big dog? So I am not gonna take the tarred position. I spoke to my mom about this, who's very familiar with how Tomahawks and Patriots work. But so she said, as soon as the command level and the 72-hour report, that the one that we got like right after this happened, that's the command general internal review. And she said if they said that we likely hit it, then we absolutely hit it. Like there's like that, because you can and I suspected this, like you can literally go into the strike package data and go down to the individual sailor or individual airman or individual soldier that directed that missile to where it went. So it's a very simple, did we have coordinates at this location? Yes or no? So it sounds like they did that initial report, found out, yeah, we had that coordinates, the ones that are in the school, typed into a Tomahawk somewhere, and that's what hit. So, but I wanted to address something you said about the strike location.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was hitching his whole wagon. And now, obviously, more than likely, he's wrong about this, but it was very good speculation. Simply put, we know the missile came from the water, and the point that he was making is it came from northwest, going south. So any way you cut it, if you put the pin on any position in the water, it would have to come all the way around and button hook to go down to so that you could get the viewing angle that you've seen with the Tomahawk. And then the second point is not that sometimes the Tomahawks dive like that. It's one variant that can dive like that. The rest of them do not have the capability to dive like that. Like at that steep angle.
Okay. But okay, that was the only problem though, because if he'd have just put like a circle on, all right, well, this is where it could have been, and these are how all the trajectories it could have took. I mean, that may have been a bit complicated, but
yeah,
that was my main problem, was him pretty much.
I'll put it to you this way.
Yeah, go ahead.
It could have came from anywhere in the water. We more than likely it came from the water. It wasn't launched by land. But for it to have come from the water, you could literally put that pin anywhere. And in order to get the trajectory that you saw in the video of the Tomahawk going down, it would have had to have done what he said, go inland and then turn around. Like, it doesn't make sense that we would send it up through enemy land, because you got this point wrong as well. The longer a war goes on, the less accurate you get. When the war initially starts, their interceptors are ready to go. So there is a chance, if you're flying over enemy land, that your shit's going to get knocked down. So he's right. He's right in what he's saying. As a war goes longer, like say 2, 3, 4 weeks, munitions start getting less accurate because you haven't done the PMs on those munitions to make them as accurate as they are, and that goes for our munitions as well as theirs. And that's why he was also saying he didn't put this out, but my mom filled this piece of information in that I just gave you. Is the reason he was so skeptical on why we hit the corner of a building is because, like, to your point, this was the very beginning of the attacks. Every Tomahawk that's firing should absolutely be pinpoint accurate. It's only as they go later in and they don't do the preventative maintenances, say they don't dust the cobwebs off the fucking tails, they start losing accuracy. That's why. So every point that he made from a munitions standpoint was correct. Like the way we would fire them, the way they would travel, every single one of them, and even up to the viewing angle and the inconsistencies with what a Tomahawk looks like and what an Iranian cruise missile. And I don't believe if Trump said that Iran has Tomahawks, that's not true. They have cruise missiles. They absolutely do have cruise missiles, which was giving air to that claim that this was an Iranian cruise missile. But all of that, literally everything that I just said, is irrelevant if the United States military themselves is saying we did this.
Yeah. Right, and that's the problem.
Literally everything
even though he could be talking about, even though he could be correct in what he's talking about in terms of munitions, the amount of evidence that he's working with to speculate in that way, and it wasn't just mere speculation. He was trying to make a positive claim.
He was trying to assert it. Yeah.
And so there's just not enough known about some of the stuff he was talking about.
And unless you are CENTCOM, unless you are the IRGC and making statements, everything everybody has said is speculation. Literally everything everybody has said is speculation. Nothing is. It might come from more informed sources, like you might have someone that works in missile defense saying, "Hey, no, this is how this works." That is still speculation because stuff is fucking compartmentalized above you, unless you're the one that did the mission, and then that's treason if you're telling people that.
Yeah, except more and more evidence has just come out to the contrary of like the people that are claiming that the U.S. didn't do it or couldn't have done it.
I didn't. I refuse to accept any speculation as proof of anything. I want to hear from CENTCOM, yes, this is what we did. No, this is not what we did. Because they do. They absolutely know fucking what they hit, how many people they hit. The issue that I still have lingering in my head is, now that I'm seeing clearer pictures of the building, how did 160 people die in what's essentially 500 square feet? That's my question I would like to pose, because that building, the building that's actually affected, like, you have videos of them inside the classrooms and the classrooms aren't blown out. What, like, how did 180 people, or whatever the thing is now, or 111 girls and like 50 staff, how did all of those people die? Where were they all sitting right there as the missile blew up?
Possibly. I mean, that's definitely a possibility, but like I said, it could have been held in assembly and it just happened to hit them at the right time. Well,
yeah. And do we know if it was like multiple stories, like one or two with a basement? Like, I don't know. These are all questions that would
to me. It looks
revealed.
like it was two stories. Yeah, to me, it looks like it was 2 stories, and a roof, which could have been 3 stories. Maybe they were, eating lunch out on the balcony. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and I don't know how much shit I'm going to get for this, but when a tomahawk is going to the ground, there is a feed on it. Like there is a sailor watching that missile go in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like fire and forget, and you don't have any spotters on the ground. We make sure to the point that our Patriot missile defense systems can shoot one out of the sky if it's going awry.
Yeah.
And
I think
so,
a big issue with this is like admitting to any of this, which I'm trusting that they will if we did it, which it looks like we did. But admitting to it would have to be admitting a mistake somewhere and admitting imperfection. And I think this administration, above others, is really hesitant to do that. Whether it be they were going off old data that they had or old intelligence that they had, whether it was
so
like something that
let me give you a piece of information. Let me give you a piece of information. Every one of these reports or whatever, after you have a loss of life or casualties, has to be closed and definitive within 30 days. So
Right.
there's a piece of information that you can hold the Trump administration to. If it takes more than 30 days for this report to be concluded, and every single detail, and they're good at explaining details. Like if you've ever read an IRGC, or not an IRGC, commanding CGRI, Commanding
Freudian
General
slip.
Response Incident, it's very, very, very specific. Like, go look up the USS Greenville when it surfaced and killed that Japanese fishing boat. Like, it is very, 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 very detailed, and you can see who made the fuck up. If it was a fuck up, I maintain that if we hit this building, we hit it for a reason. We did it on purpose.
Yeah. But that could still mean there was a mistake there. Like it could be
it was a
bad
mistake in intelligence, but a purposeful strike.
Yeah. But also, Monty, something that concerns me is, I don't know if you guys saw this. It came out a few months ago. Came out last year, I think. But in Trump's first term, there was this operation that we tried to conduct on the coast of North Korea, and it got foiled by basically some North Korean fishermen. And our special forces just kind of unloaded and killed all these fishermen. And we didn't get reports on that until like 6 years later. So
it might have been.
I don't know. I do have a lot of skepticism about. But you said like these death reports have to come out whenever there's a death at all. There was a death in that situation. There was deaths in that situation. Yeah, we didn't hear anything about it.
But the president, and the Joint Chiefs can absolutely classify those reports. So
yeah, that's
now
true.
that there's so much attention on this particular incident, I don't think that they can classify it. They might try to, because this is egg on our face.
But that would just be an admission in itself. Nobody would buy that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think, and I will still maintain this until I die. I do not think that there is a person, number one, in the United States government that's like, you know what? Girls' school? Yeah, that's a legitimate target. Let's fuck that up.
I definitely don't think there are in the higher ups, and I really don't want to believe that. I don't think that that's the most likely case at all, but I think that there could be some soldiers that, like you were talking about the other day, it might have been on Discord, that there are some people that, or maybe it was gaming, some people that join the military just because they want to kill, and
absolutely. But there's people like that are there. So there's so many checks and balances to operating a munition like that. It's not even funny. It's not just one guy steering it. It's a watch commander with fucking X, Y, and Z. Now, that's not to say that there couldn't have been a failure in leadership, because that's usually what happens when shit like this happens. It's a failure in leadership somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is so fucking binary. It's go, no go, yes, no, fucking down to the 10th digit on the grid coordinate. And this is boding well for Iran. So I think this is what is going on. Personally, I think we made a fuck up, or maybe it wasn't a fuck up. Maybe it was a legitimate military target. Maybe they were taking somebody out in that school. They didn't know it was a school because their intel is 10 years old or 5 years old or 3 years old or whatever. because every point he
or
brought
they
up,
did the collateral damage cost and cost analysis
cost
there, and was like,
analysis.
this one guy is worth taking out X amount of civilians, which does
So
happen. I mean, people do
there
that cost analysis.
there are formulas that our government takes, but it is always in accordance with the Geneva Conventions and the IWC or IHC, the International Humanitarian Law Council. Like every single one of those decisions is run through that. So if
I mean,
we
yes, but also I feel like Pete Hegseth has said, like, I don't exactly know what he's referencing, but it leads me to believe it's like international law and Geneva Convention when he says, like, no more politically correct war, no more woke war, like no
so
more
no
of this
more
pussy
politically
shit.
correct war refers
He
to
says like
yes.
do away with rules of engagement, like, and
Yes,
that is
rules of
a rule of
engagement are what we
engagement.
did. So, so you have to understand the history of the Iraq War to understand what he's saying, because he personally served in the Iraq War. The rules of engagement in 2003 followed international law. They absolutely did. The rules in 2015 or 2011, when the rules of engagement changed to you had to be shot at and sustain casualties, is what he's talking about. That's the politically correct war, because we were trying to win quote unquote hearts and minds. And if we just went and fucking attacked every single thing that was a legitimate military target, it's kind of hard to win quote unquote hearts and minds. That's what people refer to when we want the rules of engagement changed, because we don't care about hearts and minds. We care about achieving our mission quickly and expeditiously with the least amount of casualties on our side. And
Well,
that's
that's fair,
that's where
Monty,
the
but
political correctness comes in. It's not
I'm
about
saying right
international
now,
law.
he's never been very clear about that, and it does lend into, like, he doesn't really give a fuck about international law or the Geneva Convention, or because
No,
he's very
that
vague about it
lends
when he talks about it.
to it from someone on the outside looking in. But anybody that understands how the rules of engagement changed in the Iraq War, in the Afghanistan War, understands what he's talking about. And I am one of those people that watched the rules of engagement change and then watched the death toll go higher and higher and higher and higher, because we had to take losses before we could return fire. That's within the laws of war. That's like the most lenient possible way to conduct war, but it's also
Did
going to give you the
civilian
most
casualties
casualties.
go down when
No,
the
they did
rules of
not.
engagement changed?
No, they did not.
Because it seems
There's
like
what?
there, no, go ahead. Sorry.
So civilian casualties did not go down, not because we weren't shooting civilians, but because the bombs that were going off were killing other civilians too in order to hit us.
Was the
And
rules of
you don't push.
engagement changed because of a response to some of the stuff we saw our people doing over there in terms of how they conducted themselves? Things like Abu Ghraib,
That doesn't change
stuff like
rules of
that.
engagement. So
I mean,
pissing.
that could change the policy. They could be like, okay, well, we need to change rules of engagement here because we're being a little too gung ho on what we're doing with civilians and people that have been taken
So
out of combat.
civilian casualties did not decrease. Civilian casualties remained steady at the same rate that they were going. Remember, we have always had the capability since bombs over Baghdad to strike with very fucking pinpoint precision. So if we make a cost analysis on something, there is a bigger story to it than 111 kids died. There is a much bigger story to that than that.
And
Or
all right, guys.
maybe their cost analysis was just lopsided. I don't know.
All right, now we did spend a good amount of time on this conversation. Let's get over to the next video, guys. All right.
The war between the United States and Iran is growing and expanding, at least as of now. 7 Americans are confirmed killed in the conflict as of today. Casualties are rising. Iran reportedly has selected a new supreme leader. Iran's assembly of experts selected Ayatollah Mojtaba Khomeini, the 56-year-old son of the late Ayatollah. Many analysts view Mojtaba as more radical than his father. He built strong ties within Iran's IRGC,
He looks nicer.
the Revolutionary Guard Corps. This is the most hardline military faction in the country. He also played a role in slaughtering people after the 2009 protests in Iran. He won't be winning any human rights awards. Nevertheless, he received the adoration of a huge crowd in Tehran after the announcement of his selection. To be clear, that was not a crowd gathered to greet Americans.
Now, it has been
liberated.
reported that this guy was injured during a strike, and he has injuries to his leg. So, right now he is out of public eye. Like, even for his grand appearance, they brought out a cutout cardboard of this guy's face on it. And, everybody just went wild.
Didn't this guy lose like his entire family in these strikes already?
Yes, he did. He lost his wife. He lost his daughter. I mean, bro, I was like, damn, wife, daughter, and father. I was like, yeah, he's on a revenge trail. But
I'm gonna level with you guys. Don't be surprised if he gets taken out.
I'm be real with you.
I won't be.
I won't.
Don't be.
I'll be real with you.
Like, I hate to
guys,
say
he looks nicer. He does look nicer.
He does look
just because he doesn't look as old. He doesn't look like the bearded lady anymore. But
if he does, we can put in his grandson. We could put in Khomeini's grandson, right?
Yeah.
No, it does not make sense to put the guy that's going to be more radicalized by the fact that his family just got killed as power, as a power structure. That it's
well,
not.
It seems like we don't really have a choice because Trump said he wanted to pick the next, have a hand in the next leader, and then they just picked this guy.
Yeah, so they'll pick this guy, and he'll say nope and swipe left on him, literally, and fucking delete him. I don't agree with that because I believe that you should be prosecuted for things that you commit after you commit them, not before you commit them. But that's this is now war. It's overwhelming power to force submission. It's not. We're gonna wait and see how this goes. This is not a Iranian coup. This is a war.
Yep. But all right, let's get back to it.
Unlike his father, who sometimes balanced factions, Mujtaba's power base lies primarily in the most anti-American factions of the military and clerical leadership. He has the opportunity to change. We are describing the history to you accurately. So we killed the Ayatollah, and things may have gotten worse. Joining us now, retired Army Lieutenant General, former National Security Advisor to President Trump, former Director of National Intelligence for President Obama, General Michael Flynn. General, we now see fronts opening up in this war in Lebanon, in Iraq. Do you see the war as expanding or contracting in the current moment?
Yeah, I think it's expanding, Matt. I honestly, and I also think that we're going to see a front here in the United States of America. There's some reporting now of some communications that apparently have been intercepted about waking up some of these sleeper cells right here in America. So when we talk about this war is not going to be just isolated to the Persian Gulf.
I don't know why, but I believe they have terrorist cells, but I don't know about the sleeper cells. Just because
that's what a terrorist cell is. Set. It's a sleeper.
No. It's like they're different. They're a bit different. Like the terrorist cell, they're all all together. Well, I would say this: they're not as trained well as sleepers. Like actual sleepers, literally get trained
in spies
the American way.
And
right?
Yeah. My thing is,
like it's a lot more like time and detail to get a sleeper than a terrorist cell.
Because so
a terrorist cell over a bunch of immigrants who cross the border. A sleeper, you actually got to train that guy in American schools, literature, cartoons. You got to actually make him an actual American, then ship him off to America like the Russians do.
Can I make a statement then, based off of this? So we were told for years and years and years that we weren't going to have any sleeper cells, that immigration from all these Muslim countries was not going to cause any problems in the United States. And now are they admitting that they were wrong about that and that Trump was right to put a ban on Arab countries traveling to the United States? If
Iran isn't an Arab country, man. Iran's different. And Iran is an Arab country, and the only time people started complaining about this was after Joe Biden, his administration, where a bunch of people came in. But there's still no evidence of this. This is just speculation. We haven't have any evidence of sleeper cells. Like, it's still just speculation at this point.
But there's intel coming out. According to this guy, he is a general. Remember. He is saying
Michael
that there's
Flynn, like Pizzagate Flynn. This guy is like a huge conspiracy theorist.
He's a general in the military. So if anybody's going to be a conspiracy theorist and be listened to, it probably should be the guy that's seen what he's conspirizing.
And he got kicked out of Trump's administration for being fucking crazy, man. But
That.
Well,
I like.
so either one of two things is correct. Either Trump was right when he instituted the Arab ban in his first term. This is before Biden let all these people across the border. Remember, or Trump was wrong, and there is no sleeper cells or terrorist cells in the United States, and immigration works perfectly fine.
Like Seth was saying, a sleeper cell would oftentimes be a person that's already a citizen. These people are going to be people that are hard to get out. They are integrated into the country completely, maybe even born here, or maybe they were sent to a different country and then came here and have been living here amongst us for years and years. So, like, doing a Muslim ban on Arab states is not going to solve that problem.
I mean, it'll slow down the extremism flowing over the border.
If it exists, it wouldn't solve that problem. But like, it would solve the problem of like random terrorists coming over, I guess. But the sleeper cell thing, no.
Right, and but so how sleeper cells usually communicate with handlers, though, that are of the original terrorist cell.
Oh, guys, and shout out to Nurse Terry Irving. She says, "Who says he hasn't committed any crimes yet just because he's not in charge yet?" Well, hey, he was basically a key figure in the Revolutionary Guard.
Set.
So
yeah. Terry told me to tell you her name is Terry Vinning.
Vinning?
It's not Irving.
Wow.
Like read through it. Yeah, it's Terry Vinning.
Oh, sorry, Terry.
I missed that too.
Man.
So no, that was what I was gonna say, because when you were talking about sleeper cells the other day, Set, I was gonna say I was trying to say, or they were actually being the parents were sent over here to have kids here, and then they had them integrate into American life, but kept the radicalization in the home.
Yeah, like the goal of a sleeper cell is to be so like American. If we're talking about getting bringing a person into America, making that person sleeper cell, is the goal is to make them so American they're indistinguishable. I mean, you'd have found out bro was a sleeper cell, and you're like, but bro, you know all the American lingo, you know all the history. I mean,
that's my IT guy.
You were my kid's godparents. There were some that they found out. This was decades ago in another sleeper cell in another country, but someone found out their kid's godparent was part of a sleeper cell.
Yeah, and that's so. Just mentioning sleeper cell is, and like coming from Iran is enough. You don't even actually have to have the sleeper cells in the United States. Like just saying, oh, there might be sleeper cells in the United States is enough to create enough division and enough chaos to achieve the same objective.
Because think about it, now I'm going to be weary of almost every Iranian I see. If we're talking about sleeper cells, then I got to be weary of every Iranian I see, especially the ones that speak perfect English.
Yeah, and that's by design. It's not by our design to make Americans fucking panic. Again, that goes contrary to what the government wants. They want us all to be docile and fucking on TikTok all day. They don't want us being, oh my God, and creating mass pandemonium and mass chaos. It will do. 9/11 did more damage to the American way of life than just killing 3,000 people.
I don't necessarily think that's true, Monty. I think some governments like it when there is mass pandemonium and panic because it gives an excuse and a pretext for stronger crackdown. And like you're saying with 9/11, that gave us the Patriot Act,
and so, but that wasn't our. We weren't trying to create mass pandemonium and mass chaos in our own country and stifle the American movement. We want Americans moving around because that helps our economy. That would help the quote unquote elites that everybody bitches and moans about get more money. Now we have all of these things in place that slow down progress, slow down things, security checks on planes, and it's all security theater for the record. I just want to say that, but at the same token, you don't get to read about the planes that don't crash. You don't get to read about the terrorist attacks that don't happen because it's a self-feeding. It's like eating your tail. It's like a snake eating its tail. It's not good for the country.
Yeah, probably make you too paranoid. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because, like, bro,
And
let's say we heard about a story every time like a sleeper cell got captured, bro. We wouldn't probably trust any foreigner outside if you're like white, black, or Hispanic. Like, we wouldn't trust anybody outside of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so and if we wanted to do that, all we'd have to do is release all of the information that we have on sleeper cells that we have captured. If we actually, because what Sid is insinuating is that Trump is trying to create mass panic and fucking divide the country so that he can have more authoritarian rule. And that is a legitimate claim. But in order for that to be true or to be visible, he would have to, and it wouldn't be lying. He would just say, oh yeah, these are all the sleeper cells we've captured in the United States. And this is what we've done here to stop this. And this is what they've done here. And it would literally just check boxes in everybody's head to be like, I don't trust anybody. That's if Trump were trying to do it.
They do try to do that. They do try to do that with bringing out like the worst of the worst, often people that they just got from prisons who are already in state prisons and handed over. But when they bring out these people that are terrorists or criminals or gang members and talk about in like gory detail what they did, that is to sow distrust in the American mind about any immigrants, and it's worked very well because now the deputy chief of staff is telling congressional Republicans not to talk as much about mass deportations. We did, in fact, have a president that won on mass deportations based on the fear that he helped stoke.
I mean, but every single thing he did was, I mean, every person that he put up there was a criminal. Like that.
Yeah, but they're not highlighting the good immigrants, the ones that maybe just came here, skipped the line. The only crime they committed was crossing the border illegally, but then they were like a family man and did everything by the book. But that's a large part of the people that have been deported. We have deported all of that, like people that do that. Like we've deported grandmas, you know, we've deported children.
I mean, deporting grandmas that broke the law was also what he ran on. Like
you just said that those aren't the people we're going after, though. But we are. That's
we're not going after them when they get caught up in a raid. Say your Asuela that you fucking you live with is also an illegal immigrant. You're an illegal immigrant.
No, Monty, we are because
we got a bit off topic there, guys. Let's get right back.
Well, real quick, can I make one last point on it? We were and we are going after those people because they're softer targets and they're giving us numbers like quota numbers to meet. They're giving ICE quotas. And so they go after the softer targets, the people that are showing up in courtrooms, the people that are dropping their kids off at school, the people that are trying to find work. That's why they've been stationed outside of Home Depots and gas stations and outside of courthouses, because those are softer targets, and to meet those quotas, it's easier to go after them than it is the criminals. That's my piece.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get back to it.
Okay.
May have gotten worse. Joining us now, retired Army Lieutenant General, former National Security Advisor to President Trump, former Director of National Intelligence for President Obama, General Michael Flynn. General, we now see...
Oh, and shout out to John B. He says, mass panic or move eyes? Dude is a simp. Wait, what? Well, mass panic or move eyes? Dude is a simp. I have no idea who he's talking to, but hey, it is what it is.
No, so he's also making a counterpoint to what I said, and both of those things can be true. We also have the Epstein files that they're trying to move eyes from. That's what he's insinuating.
Oh, okay, I get that.
No, I think he said more eyes, kind of talking about maybe like the 5 eyes.
Oh no, or more eyes.
You're right, more eyes. My bad.
Yeah, more eyes to keep an eye out for things.
Oh, then
he's talking about Big Brother.
That too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm weak. Okay, I get where he's going now. He's like, so what? Are we do we deal with mass panic of the sleeper cells, or do we just deal with the more eyes and just go ahead and give over more of our?
Well, you sell the mass panic. You sell the mass panic as a reason for more eyes, more Big Brother in your life, because people are like, yeah, I'm willing to give up my security or my freedom for security, and we have a great prophet named Benjamin Franklin that said that you're an idiot if you do that.
Yeah, but Americans do it all the time. Like, we got into these fucking pointless wars on the back of 9/11, where we went into countries that weren't even involved in it. And then we also agreed to having the Patriot Act and the AUMF, and it just created this huge mess. Yeah, we shouldn't, but it's a tested and tried and tested method to get people to give up their freedom.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
I mean,
why we are as far into the country as we can be.
But all right, guys, let's go
And
ahead
we
and get
got
right back.
VPNs and all that. We're trying to keep it low key as possible.
All right, let's go ahead and get right back to it.
Up in this war in Lebanon, in Iraq, do you see the war as expanding or contracting in the current moment?
Yeah, I think it's expanding, Matt. I honestly, and I also think that we're going to see a front here in the United States of America. There's some reporting now of some communications that apparently have been intercepted about waking up some of these sleeper cells right here in America. So when we talk about this war is not going to be just isolated to the Persian Gulf or Iran or even some of the Middle Eastern countries that you just stated and you have on the screen here, like when we talk about Lebanon or Iraq or Jordan or Abu Dhabi or UAE, etc. I do think that we're going to see an expansion of it. They may not be as strong as they once were because, of course, their Navy's been destroyed. They're continuing, Israel and the United States is continuing to pound on their ballistic missile capability. But the Iranian military is a powerful, powerful military. And I'm not sure we've even touched on their conventional ground force capabilities. I mean, they have a large artillery capability. They have a very, very extensive military. And hopefully some of these people in the conventional Iranian military will turn on the government and join the protesters. But I want people to understand that these guys have had like 40 plus years to prepare for this kind of thing. And this is not a third world country at all. It's a very sophisticated country. They have clearly their problems.
He is right about that.
Ideologically, but it's a relatively.
Right. Whoops. Sorry, say that again.
No, I'm saying he's absolutely right about everything he's saying. And I think that should go to strengthen how serious we need to take them as a threat and not just wipe them, push them to the side and be like, they're never actually going to intend to do anything to us. And like, they absolutely do not like any of our influence being in the region. Now, set to your point, they have sovereignty. To our point, we are trying to position ourselves on the world stage as the biggest power and make everything come through us to fulfill our fucking objectives in the world.
The sovereignty
this goes the sovereignty
Monty,
decider.
If we fail here, what does that say about us? Doesn't that kind of say we aren't a hegemonic power anymore?
Yes, to your point, Sid, absolutely that says that. That's why we shouldn't fail.
Yeah, sure.
Well, they wouldn't know. No one would know if we didn't try.
Know. I mean, everybody, if any fight that you start or any fight that you engage in, you always have the chance of losing. But no one's going to be like, I'm scared to lose, so I'm going to fight like shit.
The problem is the win conditions, and Trump could try to make this a win for him while also failing and exposing that we're not a hegemonic power anymore that can go against even a country like Iran successfully and accomplish whatever our win conditions are, because they're not very clear.
I mean, I think that they're pretty clear. Just look at what we're actually doing and how successful we are at doing that. Excuse me.
Well, the administration says something different. They say it's about nuclear capabilities. They also said it was about regime change at first. But the military is saying, no, it's just about taking out the Navy and their ballistic missiles. Well, it seems like we've already pretty much done that, and that would provide an easy win. But those things can be rebuilt. Like, those things can just be rebuilt once we stop. So what do? Do we keep going in every couple months and do the same thing over and over? Because that is definitionally a forever war.
Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but there has been some new weaponry that's been introduced since in the last 3 days. Last night, I know.
Meaning due to us.
Yeah, ours. Okay. They were showing videos from Iran of this. I don't know what it was, but it lit up the sky like it was blue, and then a massive fireball came up from the ground, And then I know the bases have something new. It looks like it almost looks like laser technology, but it uses lasers to connect to the missiles or the thing, and
To
it
burn
can
them up.
shoot out anywhere from 100 to 1,000 bullets automatically. That one was, I know Steven was showing that the other day on his channel. But yeah,
So
there's been some new stuff coming out.
I gotta bow out. Set. When you're done with the show, call me.
Gotcha.
But I'll leave this as my last point. And this, if what you're saying is true, Tove, then that lands credibility to Sid's point more than it does my point, actually. Simply because if we're pulling out all the stops to deal with quote unquote Iran, that's an issue, and that needs to
I don't
be
think
looked
we're
into.
pulling out the stops. I think they're using it to
We're
test
introducing new weapons.
weaponry. Yeah, and it could
I mean,
be
it
in
might
the
be it might be a
testing.
test, but every time you test something in public, you weaken its strategery in battle.
True. But like I said, even
But
Space Force has become involved and is operating from homeland.
or maybe it's just us repositioning ourselves. Yeah, we'll pull out all the stops to defeat you single-handedly quickly. I don't know. It's a new Department of Defense. It's a new Department of War. It's a totally different president that thinks outside the box. Maybe he just has a different way of achieving military goals than has been done before.
Hold on, guys. Let me go ahead and get over to the super chat because shout out Nurse Terry. She says, remember that feeling you had for months after 9/11? I hated that feeling.
Yeah. I was 4.5. I was like 4 years old, so no, I don't.
I remember. And I just realized a lot of people don't know how bad it actually was. They really don't.
Yeah, I remember how bad it was, like honestly on all communities. Like first, of course, the morning of it all. Then, of course, like you got to remember, like my dad was my stepdad, he's Muslim, so in that community, these guys are kind of like on edge a little bit, like we're not kind of guys. So it was like, bro, it was for everybody there.
I mean, my school was actually dismissed early.
Yeah. I'm gonna bow out. I know I make fun of people that announce they're leaving, but I want to do so that I can tell you that, like, call me when you're done. I don't know if you have to go to work tonight, but call me when you're done.
I got you, big dog.
All right,
Peace
love
out.
you, bro.
All right, so I'm
Talk to you later, honey.
Another thing that's happening here is we're moving all our like THAAD missile interceptors and all these things from the Asian Pacific and South Korea over to Iran to deal with them there. And earlier in the administration, they were arguing that we couldn't provide much more aid to Ukraine because we were actually low on these kinds of munitions and they needed to go elsewhere. So I don't know. It seems like the administration wants it two ways sometimes, where we have infinite resources, but also know we don't have infinite resources and we're actually running low. And when they started their campaign
well, I'm sorry.
When they started their campaign.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, anyway, this is the last point. Sorry. But when we first started striking Yemen, when Trump first got in office for the second time, we ended up having to stop those attacks because we were running low on the types of munitions that we were using. We couldn't produce them at a rate that would keep up with how much we were striking the Houthis. So that kind of stuff happening doesn't like bode well for some of the stuff the administration is saying. Maybe they learned from that and they're not going to do that type of thing again. But we got to remember these resources are not infinite.
And here's the craziest part. I think also a good main concern is what it costs to defend ourselves against Iran. Like I said, like, bro, we're defending against $50,000 drones with $1 million missiles. It's like we can't keep doing that. Like I know we're trying to now like re-engineer their drones and all that good stuff, but we are still, especially in the Middle Eastern countries, intercepting drones with $1 million missiles.
Yeah, and what is it now? The military said that the first 2 days alone of this operation cost $5 billion. Yeah. I mean, you should pull up the Iran war cost tracker, because I think that was operating under the assumption that each day would cost about $1 billion.
Oof. We ended up with a couple trillion.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, I do want to get into this one real quick because you know what? I actually want to get y'all thoughts and opinions on this. Man, let's go. Let's get over to one of the guys who irritates MAGA the most. I think you can almost guess. Like, I think you could almost guess. Said who you think political commentator? He's brown. Like
that irritates Mega the most.
Yeah.
You said he or she?
He.
Lemon.
Yeah, Don Lemon.
No, but a little.
Give me another hint. Mehdi Hassan. Mehdi Hassan.
Yep, Mehdi Hassan.
Oh God.
Hey Tove. When I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of background noise.
I'm in my car. Hold on. I'll mute.
All right.
No worries.
All right, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Are you pleased that the now dead Ayatollah Khomeini, the older Khomeini, is no longer ruling Iran?
It's a good question. I don't take pleasure in killing anyone. I don't think you should have illegally killed the foreign leader of a nation, who's also, by the way, a spiritual leader to millions of Shia Muslims around the world.
Brilliantly deflected. My actual question was, are you pleased that he's no longer ruling Iran?
It's a loaded question because his son is leading the country. So am I pleased with that?